Okay, time for an update video. As you can see, she's getting bigger and more mature. I don't know if it looks like that or not, but you know, she says a few words. She can play with more complex toys, figure things out. We have a lot of, she didn't talk a lot yet, it's a few words. So a lot of it is still unspoken communication, or at least garbled communication, where she'll be like, and I say back, and she says, and I respond with, wait for it, and I don't know, it's like a weird thing, and she starts smiling and laughing. See, she starts laughing, I don't know what we're saying to each other, but she likes it, and we're making a connection, so we just go with it. Anyway, so my last video, I mentioned that I was training for a, whatchamacallit, a stroller running race, right? And it's going to be a 5K, going to try to break 18. Felt like a stretch, but that's what I was going to try to do. And at the time, I was doing like maybe 7-8 mile runs with the stroller at about, I think I got down to like 6 flat pace, 5:59, 6 flat, something like that. I think in that range. I got more and more confident with what I could do. So, okay, in the race, I can go faster, right? So, I ended up doing a race, but not the one that I had planned on. The one I had planned on, I thought was at the end of March. It was actually the end of May. And all these months that begin with the letter M, I just get confused. I think it's only 2. Anyway, so we actually went to France in May, so I did not have a chance to I wasn't able to do the race. I can't tell my wife, like, hey, sorry, I don't want to go on the honeymoon and whatever, this trip that we're doing that we had planned, I'd rather just do a stroller race. Like, that would not go over well. So obviously, I had to miss the race. But the silver lining is I did a race before we left for France in April, and on Easter weekend. We did like a podunk kind of race, maybe 200 or 300 people, really small. But it was a 10K, which is actually better anyway. 5K is too short for me. 10K, I'm like, great. I run 7 miles with her already. Like, I got this. And it was self-seated, so I got to start near the front, and no one gave me a hard time. And this not high schooler kid, 17-year-old kid, or 19-year-old? Yeah, 19-year-old kid, so college kid. He took it out hard from the beginning, and I just tried to go with him, even though I threw my pacing strategy out the window because he just went out hard, and I was like, well, I'm going with him. Who cares? And no one else challenged us, just the 2 of us. So I got, I basically was like, okay, I'm getting podium. That's pretty cool. But I was trying to win, right? And the course was on a bike path, so that was good. But there's other bike paths in the area that we could have gone on that are a lot smoother. But this one was like, they had some bumpy sections. There was a small little like dip hill where we go like under an overpass and then go back up or whatever. So they had that hill to contend with. And then there were some tight turns. There was U-turns in the course. We had to go over a couple bridges that were bumpy. And it was a double out and back. Like, are you serious? There's trails all around. We could have easily gone one out and back. They did a double out and back. So what happened was, the double out and back, the 5K runners got in my way, and the 10K runners got in my way. All the slow people, everyone got in my way, basically. So, and the other kid, besides being half my age, didn't have a stroller to push. He just could, like, step into the grass or, like, go around people, zigzag. I couldn't do that. I'm just shouting, like, on your left, on your right, on your left. Watch out. I can't stop. I got a stroller. And people brought their kids. You know how it is with these, like, holiday-type events. People bring the whole family's there, right? Whole family affair, and no one gets out of the way. So, long story short, it definitely impeded me in certain sections. He was, like, ahead of me, but I don't know. He never looked back, which is kind of like a mind fuck for me. I'm like within 10 seconds of him the whole time, but he never looks back. I'm like, isn't he curious about like where the guy with the jogger is? Like, I'm breathing down his neck. He didn't even care, So by mile 4, so he slowed down without noticing it, I guess, because he never really checked his watch or looked back. And at mile 4, he slowed down, and I caught him, and I passed him. And I was like, oh man, it's on now. But like the trail's narrow. You can only fit like 2 of us. So as soon as someone comes by, you got to make a move. So someone was coming by, so I surged ahead of him, got in front of him. But as soon as that person passed us, going the other way, he got ahead of me. And then after that, I never passed him again. I was getting tired, to be honest with you. I fell behind pace a little bit from the first half, but I hit the first 5K. I went sub 18. I did a 17, I think 49, and the second 5K I was just hanging on for dear life, and I lost by maybe 15 seconds. I did a 36:11. Yep. Here you go. Here's your train. Here's your train. Put them in there. Yeah, put the blocks in there. Everything is just a series of like putting blocks in places and taking them out and putting them somewhere else. She's ready to work in a factory, I think, like an assembly line. Anyway, so I ran a 36:11. Technically got 3rd because Luna, my daughter, crossed the line before me because I pushed her in the stroller. But yeah, no, podium. I'm happy with it. 5:49 average pace for a 10K with all the excuses baked in that I just mentioned. But all in all, did well. And then after that, so I did the Wine Country Half Marathon, which I do every year. I got 3rd again this year, just like last year. So I've kept my podium streak alive. I did okay, but my legs definitely felt it on the second half. I was only averaging 22 miles a week back then. So even that 10K I did in April with the stroller, I was only doing like 20 miles a week. So I do other things. I do a little bit of biking on the side. I started biking to work, trying to get creative with my training. But I didn't want to like hurt my shin because of my stress fracture last year. So I was being careful. And sometimes if I run too fast or too long, if I run like a 13 mile, 10 mile, whatever, run at a fast effort, I do feel it for a few days in my ankle, shin area. So I try to be cautious. Anyway, did the half marathon. I did a 1:16 on a hilly course. So it's like 3 minutes off my best on that course, but that was in 2022. So, and I've had a knee injury since then, ankle injury since then, and a baby since then, and I'm not running that much mileage. So 22 miles a week, I thought that was okay. Give myself a pass. Then I started bumping up the mileage more after that because once you do a race and you don't win, you want to do better, then you think, oh, what can I do? And you get motivated to train more. That's why it's good to race, have some races sprinkled into your training. If you do train too much, you lose focus, I feel like, at least me. So I was remotivated after that, like, oh, I want to do better. And so I bumped my mileage up to 30. And most weeks I'm hitting low 30s, like 32, 30. Last week I didn't hit 30, but most of the time I do. The reason now it's hard to hit 30 is I'm doing a triathlon near the end of August and in Santa Barbara, and been having to swim again, get my swimming arms back, try to have the guts to jump in the cold ocean. It's freezing up here. Even though it's summer, it's still like 61 degrees in the water, which for me is like freezing. That's my kryptonite, is cold water. Don't like it. I don't do ice plunging or whatever that stuff is. I don't do that stuff. Like ice bath, I could sit in an ice bath. I don't want to voluntarily, but I could do it if a gun was pointed at me. But I don't want to swim in an ice bath. So, different. Yeah, so that's been going well. I feel like my biking and running is pretty solid right now to do well in the triathlon. I should have as good a bike and run as anybody, probably the best in the field, I would say. But the swim is a big question mark. It's been a while. And even swimming in the pool at my complex is not the same thing as swimming in the ocean. So I'm a little nervous about that. It's harder in the ocean. It's cold. You got to sight the buoys, deal with people swimming into you. It's a whole different ball game. A lot of news. Also, I'm trying to basically holding a racing event next year. Like kind of like I don't want to be the race director, but applying for a race permit, getting the licenses necessary, setting up the course, like actually run like a local organized event, like spearhead it. So because basically it's an event that used to take place in Santa Barbara and hasn't happened for many years, and it's a race that I feel like should be here still. And the race director basically sits on his hands and is useless. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need him. We can just make our own race, call it something different, use the same course, and bring it back. So stay tuned for that. That's next year, like maybe like next spring. So a lot of things, obviously a lot of things going on life-wise with my daughter and daycare and everything. Right now she has a hand, foot, mouth syndrome that she got from daycare. So I'm staying home with her today. Yeah, so a lot of things. Oh, one more thing. Okay, so okay, not all of us, but there's an evolution of a person or an athlete, right? They start off, they're newcomer, they have a lot of questions, they seek advice, they're humble, all these things. Then you get to a point where, wow, she really packed that thing, huh? Okay, then you get to a point where you have some success, and it's like you PR all the time, and you're just so exuberant about it, blah, blah, blah. Then you get to a point when you start winning races, or your age group, or you start beating people, and you start getting a big head on your shoulders, and, you know, an ego. And you start talking smack, okay? And you start beating people that are older than you, but thinking that you'd beat them even if they were younger. Like, you just think you're the best, basically. And that's how I was when I was in Hawaii. I felt like no one can touch me. And it doesn't mean that was the case, but that's the mentality I had. And you're just motivated to kick everyone's ass, and you go on Strava and you write to people and you beat their KOMs, and you like, it's like just feed your ego and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so right now there's a big dispute going on Strava between this. I don't think he's still a pro runner. I'm not really sure. He's like my age, I think. But he was a pro trail runner for Hoka. And he used to live in Santa Barbara. And now there's a new runner now. He's in his 20s. And now he's winning races and like talking smack. And like, oh, your KOMs are so easy and blah, blah, blah. It's really entertaining to watch. And I want to get in on the action, even though I'm in the... Basically, he's saying he's taking all these KOMs on Strava from these old, washed-up runners and how easy it is. And so I'm like dropping in the comments like, hey, go try this, go try that, because some of my segments, I'm like, let's see if this kid's for real. And he is really good. I mean, the 4th of July race is a 5K trail race. I got second, he got first.
Guys.
And it was a pretty good field, so hats off to him there. But then again, like, I'm not a trail runner, you know, and I'm not like a technical runner really. I was close to him, but and I, you know, I'm not in my prime. Obviously, I'm only training 30 miles a week. He's doing like 17 hours a week. So just running. I don't know what else he's doing. So way different levels there. But anyway, I still think I can maybe take one of his KOMs. So one of these days, even though I do all my runs and all my stuff like near the house because of time constraints and whatnot, and it's like 5 a.m., I'm hoping that I can get out in the mountains or something and take one of his and just try to fight back for the old guys. Like, respect your elders, biatch. Anyway, so a lot of things happening. And we'll keep chugging along. But I'm just thankful to be able to train and be relatively healthy and keep it going and stay active and feel somewhat competitive. So this will be my first triathlon this month since 2017. 2017. It's been 8 years. Does Daddy still have it? Yeah? Yeah? Is he gonna win? We'll find out. Oh yeah, one more thing. So we wanted to make a running podcast type video where like basically we'll be running, like two guys will be running and we'll just talk about things as if it was a podcast, but we'll be running the whole time and someone's filming us from the front. So kind of a different style. Maybe if someone comes up to us, we'll like race them or something. But anyway, just curious if it does happen, we need stuff to talk about. So if there's any controversial running topics that you want us to discuss, you know, you can put them in a comment below. It doesn't have to be super specific, like, oh, what do you think about so-and-so's training plans about this upcoming race where they're going to race in the blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm talking about, like, general stuff. Like, you know, I don't know. My teammate, he wears spandex under his uniform when he races, and it seems kind of weird, and what do you think about that? Like stuff like that. Just general running questions or topics or opinions that you think is controversial or at least open to interpretation. You know, maybe we'll include it in the video. A lot of it will be on the spot, but if we have any like other topics that come to mind or that are suggested, we'll try to throw them in there and just talk about it. So I don't know if it's going to be a series. My friend talks about like it's going to be like this weekly thing, and I'm like, dude, we both don't have time for that. But you know, it might be a good video. So yeah, let me know what topics you want us to talk about.